Regular BBC daytime viewers will recognise these giants of the antiques world who light up our screens with their wisdom and charm.
I've more than doubled my money.
But what sort of things do our experts get up to when they're not on the telly? Well, we're about to find out, as over the course of 1 week, we'll be seeing one pair of plucky heavyweight dealers face a different daily challenge. Some of those challenges will be familiar territory.
Yes.
And some will be pitching our experts into the unknown.
Bang, bang, bang.
They'll be going head-to-head in a battle for profit, showing us how they've risked their own money and reputations by recreating some of their real-life deals.
Profit, profit and more profit.
And if the stakes weren't high enough already, each expert has a favourite charity that will be benefiting from their profits. The challenge to our experts is clear. Put your money where your mouth is. Today's finely honed experts are the one and only Mr. Tim Wonnacott and the unstoppable David Harper. Devilish David Harper started wheeling and dealing when he was just 18 years old.
Give me the money.
And he now makes a living from antiques, property and classic cars. From boot fairs to sale rooms, he's a highly respected dispenser of sage advice on Make Me Rich and Bargain Hunt. The debonair Mr. Wonnacott is a true top dog of the antiques world with an outstanding pedigree.
I've seen you admiring my jug.
Tim's father and grandfather were both auctioneers, and Mr. W joined a top auction house in 1978 before leaving to set up his own brokerage business. He's regularly on the road with the Antiques Roadshow and is the master of ceremonies of Bargain Hunt. With their reputations at risk, their own money on the line and their favourite charities wishing them well, our experts have everything to play for. So, what is today's challenge?
Hail, David!
Tim.
How are you?
Bright and early, my goodness me.
I know, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Are you all right?
So what's the matter with that? Oh, you got an envelope?
I've got one for you.
Oh, is that for me?
And shall I open mine first?
Do.
David and Tim, your challenge today is to spend £250. You must then resell your purchases with the aim of making as much profit as possible. The winner is the presenter who makes the most cash.
Do you want me to read mine?
Go on, then.
Today's challenge will take place at a car boot fair. That's why we're in a field. The thing I want you to note is that sun, see? See where that sun is?
It's very low.
It's very low. That would be because it is genuinely 6 o'clock in the morning and we are already on this field. And actually, there's quite a lot of people here, aren't there?
A lot of people. It makes me wonder, do they actually ever go to bed?
In Essex, never.
No?
No? Anyway, we'd better hop it, hadn't
Shall we do
You're
it?
up for this, aren't
Let's
you?
go for it,
Right,
Tim. I'm
then.
excited.
Oh, yes!
So our skipping schoolboys are about to crack heads at the Marks Tay boot sale in sunny Colchester, Britain's first Roman city. And with ancient legends that tell of Camelot, Old King Cole and even Humpty Dumpty, there's certainly no shortage of history here. But the big question is, how will our antiquity experts survive when faced with boot sale bargains? Now, Tim has a reputation as one of the best auctioneers in the UK. In fact, he's probably master of the universe when it comes to antiques. But boot sales in fields are pretty far removed from his natural habitat. So how does he think he'll cope?
Well, I'm not the most experienced car boot person. If I spend 50 quid, I'll have done extraordinarily well. On the other hand, you just never know what you're going to find in these places.
Interesting strategy from the usually bullish Mr. Wonnacott. Clearly, he's not so sure of himself when it comes to the car boot world. But the less he buys, the less items he'll have to try and make a profit on at his chosen selling venue, Portobello Market in London. Luckily for him, though, devilish David Harper doesn't sound too confident either.
This is not really my most preferred environment for buying antiques, but I've got to say there's a real sense of anticipation here, a real atmosphere of excitement, but I feel like I've got to rush. I've got to dive in there and see if I can pull out some interesting items, so I'm off.
So David is on a mission to uncover real antiques, whilst his opponent is looking to rein in the purse strings. Mr. Harper will be selling his items through a mixture of dealers and auctions, and he knows he doesn't have time to waste.
How much is the rug? Any idea what it's made of? What sort of money for that?
His rival, though, is struggling to find anything that tickles his fancy.
You got a few mobiles here, have you?
No, only mobile accessories.
That counts me out, I'm afraid. This is all smelling very nice down here. Help! Just about says it all, really, doesn't it? This car boot is not looking that good.
Well, the venerable Mr. Wonnacott might be less than impressed, but David isn't wasting any time with the one-liners. He's putting in the hard yards and soon uncovers a potential den of antiquities.
Now, some stalls, for me, really draw me in. Now, this one to my right looks the business. I can tell instantly there's plenty of good antique dealing stock on that, so let's go and see what we can do. Now, what about the table? What have you got on that?
45.
45. 20 any good for the table?
No, I can't.
Really?
No.
OK.
Probably
30.
No, I can't. 40's a definite.
Ray, you're too hard, honestly. 35, Ray.
No, it's all right. I'll shake your hand at 40.
38, Ray.
I can't. I've got to earn a profit, sir.
Oh, I have to have it. I love it. I love it. Thanks, Ray.
So the devilish one is out of the starting blocks, but he wasn't much cop when it came to haggling his vendor down. He's paid the full asking price of £40 for his table, so what's he got that's worth paying the full whack for?
This is the kind of thing that I would easily find a home for 100 quid, 120 pounds, and it would be an utter bargain. For goodness sake, it's hand-carved out of solid hardwood. This would have taken somebody months to create. You will never find anything quite like it ever again. Each and every piece is utterly unique and wonderful, and a bit of wax, a couple of hours of elbow grease will make this look the business.
If David reckons he can make £100 out of a £40 purchase, he's off to a cracking start. But unfortunately, our world-famous auctioneer appears to have got slightly distracted.
To win, start from one foot and reach the other without letting your hand touch the sides. In it comes, round it comes, up it comes, and... How much is it?
50p.
50p. Very good, we'll have that for 50p. Will you wrap it? No, I'm only joking. What's that, darling? You all
I
right?
absolutely idolise you.
You don't idolise me.
Well, hello. The old magic's still there, Tim, but charming the ladies, having fun and enjoying the attention are not likely to win the day. Mr. Wonnacott needs to turn his mind back to the battle in hand. But will these rock and roll badges really strike fear into the heart of his opponent?
£5. Should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? I think I'll do it.
So far, our hard-rocking auctioneer has spent just £5.50 out of his £250 budget. So he's hardly a heavyweight contender for today's Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is crown. But his hands do eventually find his pockets when he bags this battered silver spoon.
Could it be mine for a £5 note?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I'll do it for £5.
Clearly no one haggles with the venerable Mr. Wonnacott then. But how exactly he plans to wheel a deal on these unlikely items at Portobello is anyone's guess. Meanwhile, devilish David Harper is working up a real sweat. His strategy is to sell his items privately, and he stumbled across a knockout tea caddy.
What sort of price is the box?
Take one after that.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't manage to haggle anything off the price of his first purchase, so if David's going to guarantee a profit, he needs to get this one for a knockdown price.
Can you do it for 80?
Nowhere near it, no.
OK, how far away am I?
You're 75 quid away.
35 quid away. I'll try it at 100. The best at 100 quid.
No.
Go on.
No.
It might be a beautiful tea caddy, but once again it looks like David will have his work cut out to get it for the price he wants.
Lovely.
Thanks very much.
But whilst he continues to haggle, the rakish Mr. Wonnacott is busy vamping it up on the other side of the boot sale.
£3.50 is what I paid for this cardboard cutout. She will be a film and TV collectible. We are going to be selling at Portobello, and I rather fancy that she will draw the crowds in. And at £3.50, frankly, my dear, who gives a damn?
Time is ticking away, but all Tim seems to be interested in is having a right old hoot in this unexplored environment. Hard-grafter David, on the other hand, is still battling away to hook a deal on that gorgeous tea caddy. You can't say this lad doesn't try.
110 for the box. Oh, you're not going to drop a penny?
No.
Really?
Not from that. Well, I said 1.5 to start with, didn't I? It's part of the game, isn't it?
OK. Well, I'm going to have to leave you.
OK, do it.
You're not bothered, are you?
Oh.
No? OK. Well, that was an utter nightmare. I really tried to buy that tea caddy with its original interior. 125 he wants. I think there's still potentially some profit there, but I'm going to have a quick scout around it, and if I'm really stuck, I'm going to have to go back and risk that it's still there. Off I go.
It's no wonder David's in a state of turmoil. If he pays the asking price of £125 for that tea caddy, he'll have blown almost half his budget. He's not about to rush into anything, though, and as he hits the road to look for cheaper alternatives, he soon spots the perfect opportunity to give Mr. Wonnacott the boot.
I've seen something that I want right there, and if I can buy it for the right money, I'm going to get it. I thought it was only Tim Wonnacott who got dressed up for these occasions.
Oh, no, I always get dressed up for occasions like this.
Now, I've just clocked that, the boot's great. What sort of money?
Well, I'm asking £40.
30 quid and we're done. How's that?
All right.
Top man, thank you very much. Great hat.
Thank you very much.
Look in the business.
Stop the press, David's finally managed to haggle down one of his purchases. Well done, David. Well, it seems our Knights of the Barter are having mixed fortunes at today's boot sale. What's to be done, Tim?
What's my top tip for coming to a car boot sale? Well, don't ask me. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never been to one before. So I suppose it's just a question of going around being nice to everybody. No change, really.
Excellent. Thanks for that. Short, sharp, and outstandingly modest. Fingers crossed that David has something more useful to offer.
Now, here's a tip if you fancy making some money buying and selling at car boots. Buy anything that you can improve vastly with little effort. Take this condiment set, for example, dating to about the 1920s. It's very, very grubby. How much is this? £15, thanks. £15. Well, let me tell you, buy it for £15, spend 5 minutes with some silver polish, go to the next car boot next week, put 35 quid on it, it'll fly out the door.
So, with the first half of the boot sale entering injury time, Tim digs deep for a quick purchase.
What can you get for £1 these days? Not much. Well, apparently, if you visit a car boot sale, you can get yourself a bit of a style icon. This thing is a folding magazine rack, so it's retro. It's simply cane work that's been woven over a metal frame, and it's all complete, and it's in good nick, and it only cost £1. So, eat your heart out, David.
Well, well, Tim, looks like that fighting spirit is starting to come through, and about time too. So far, Tim's not been very good at breaking into his piggy bank. Remember, he had a budget of up to £250, and after very little action, he's managed to part with just £15, leaving him £235 left to blow. However, David's faring slightly better and has parted with £70, leaving him with £180 left to spend. Now, as it's half-time at the boot sale, our experts cross enemy lines to size each other up.
You're looking a little worried, Mr. Wonnacott.
Worried? I'm petrified.
Are you? I'm having a great time.
Is this your environment suddenly?
You know, I didn't think it was, but I found some really good, interesting, proper antique dealing stock here. Never seen anything like it.
Well, I'm worried then if you've bought all this stuff.
I've spent a little bit of money, Tim, so
Yeah.
maybe I'm kind of over-egging this here. Maybe it's my technique to make you worried.
Well, it's working, I can tell you. Good luck.
Yeah, you too.
With the boot sale in full swing, it's now or never for our sporting gentlemen if they're to spend their budgets and get their hands on the top booty. But neither of our contenders seems able to land the knockout blow. Whilst David's uncovered some treasured antiques, he sure ain't so hot when it comes to the haggle.
100 quid.
No.
Go on.
And Tim has been a bit of a fish out of water.
Up it comes and...
But that could be about to change. It seems that little chat with David has galvanised Tim into redoubling his efforts. And lo and behold, his efforts look as though they might be about to pay off as he spots a pack of hungry car booters.
just look at this. It's a feeding frenzy. I reckon this is a private seller who's literally clearing a house, but just look at all these guys crowding round, desperate to hand over some cash and buy some potential bargains. I'm going to go and join in.
Finally, Tim's getting stuck in. And after some ferreting around, he spots some potential purchases, which just goes to show that when it comes to car boot fairs, you can't judge a book by its cover. But spotting the best items is only the first hurdle. The biggest jump is doing the deal.
I know. £5? Okay.
So it's a success for Mr. Wonnacott as he makes his first sensible purchase of the day. But Tim, you must know by now that when it comes to this competition, you've got no time to rest on your laurels.
Ah, you caught me. But wasn't that an amazing buy? Didn't you think? That feeding frenzy in the back of that private couple's van. The theme of the selection is bindings on books. Each of these books, if you look, has got a nice coloured canvas outer binding, and my rule of thumb was to get a binding that's in good condition. These are essentially children's books. The only one that is eccentric to this tribe of books is this fellow. See that? That is a really ancient cover. That's a real piece of cowhide that's been applied to the cover. And if I open it up, look at that. This is Bradshaw's valuable family jewel, and it was printed and sold in 1751. A lot of these books get broken up, but this one appears to have a front page and it appears to have its back page. Maybe we'll get £50 for those 10 books, and we paid 50p. But this joker, this Bradshaw's family jewel, frankly, could be worth anything. Wouldn't it be fun if it was worth £200?
Well, Tim might think it's all a bit of a giggle, but he's still only spent 20 of his £250 kitty. David, meanwhile, is still hard at work. So who's going to have the last laugh?
There's like a real sense of urgency now. I'm dashing from that pitch to this pitch because Wonnacott's about 3 or 4 metres behind me, following me. And I'm keeping an eye on him and he's keeping an eye on me. So I need to catch the bargains before he sees them. Right, I'm off.
So David's finally decided that that tea caddy is too good a deal to miss. But cunning Colonial Tim has managed to outflank him to the same stall, which means he might be about to land the first punch. Tim's eagle eye has been grabbed by an antique teapot stand. The thing is, David's precious tea caddy is sat just 2 metres away. If Tim spots it, it could be disastrous news for David and could turn the whole competition on its head.
I think someone's got their eye on it.
But for now, Tim's bifocals are firmly focused on the teapot stand.
How much is it?
20 for that.
How much?
20.
Take £10? No. I paid £15, that's the top and bottom for death.
Blimey, it's not like he's strapped for cash, but Tim is haggling valiantly. Will he succeed where David failed?
£18, done. Very good.
So 1 up for Tim, but David, not willing to lose that tea caddy, makes a desperate dash for the stall.
Got eye on it. I'm just going to go and grab it.
But having bought the tea stand, Tim is free to browse all the other items. Will he spot the one piece that David's desperate for? Well, amazingly, the king of antiques appears to have missed this golden opportunity, so David has his big chance.
I'll have it.
Spurred on by success, David seeks out even more collectibles.
So what have we got? Yeah, OK, so rosewood, mother of pearl.
But unless my eyes deceive me, that's another tea caddy. Variety might be the spice of life, but it's off the menu for David when it comes to buying antiques, it seems.
Well, the very best would be 35, and that'd be a good price for that.
£20, right?
Can't do it, sorry. No, it's got to be 30. Got to have that magic word called profit, I'm afraid.
You don't need to be making profit.
It's got to be 35. That's the very best on it.
That's a Bonnie thing. It's got potential. I'll have it.
OK.
Thanks, right. Cheers.
Cheers.
So it's another tea caddy for devilish David, but at least he's managed to haggle some money off this one. He clearly thinks that he's got the deal of the day, but that doesn't appear to be worrying Mr. Wonnacott. He might have only spent a fraction of his £250 budget, but he's not about to throw the towel in yet, and it's not long before he manages to seal a deal on this collectible Staffordshire jug.
How about a fiver?
No, make it 10. I'll think about it.
Well, don't think too long. £10 it is.
It's an unusual piece, but the big question is, will it bring in a cracking profit?
So, two of our items are anonymous pieces of ceramic. I've come away from the car boot, and let's see what we can find out about them. This handsome teapot stand, I reckon, says PB and S. And if I look it up in my trusty Marks book, PB&S stands for a firm called Powell, Bishop and Stonier between 1878 and 1891. And oh look, there's a little mark there for a Chinaman, exactly like the Chinaman mark on the bottom of our teapot stand. And this big old jug, he seems to say DB & Co. underneath a brown beehive mark. So let's see what we can find out. And here we go, look, Dunn Bennett & Co. And there's their little beehive mark. Well, that's great, isn't it? Because we've now at least identified the factories. We know that they're a known product from a certain period, and that should ultimately enhance the value.
With the clock ticking, there's little time left for our collectors to cash in on more items. But David looks more likely to win a back-scratching contest with his next find. What exactly he plans to do with this piece is anyone's guess.
20 any good?
Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one. OK, thank you very much. I'll take a chance on that.
Take a chance on what exactly?
Now that, I've been told, is a horse singer. Apparently you kind of put tram lines on the back end of a horse when maybe you're going to dressage or a show or something like that. But what I like about it is it's typical late 19th century style, made of copper and of brass. A real brilliant Victorian invention. Pretty useless today, but I think you would sell that to a wealthy horsey person. And wealthy horsey people I love because they've always got money to spend on anything to do with horses. So, £20 purchase. If I can't double my money, there's something very wrong with that.
And in case you're worried, this contraption may look scary, but it doesn't hurt horses. All it does is remove any wayward hairs, leaving a sleek and shiny coat behind. And with David talking of doubling his money, Tim should be worried. He hasn't even spent a quarter of his budget, so he'll need to locate a serious find to match up to his rival. So, can anyone therefore explain exactly what he's doing?
Will it be a magic carpet?
Tim's struggling to find some eye-catching pieces to sell on, but you can't say he isn't trying.
How much is this piece?
15.
How much is this piece?
20.
How much is this piece?
4.
It just seems like nothing here has enough potential to prise open Mr. Wonnacott's wallet. David, meanwhile, seems determined to part with his every last pound.
How much is this one? A pound. OK, well, I'll have to have that.
So far, Tim's been treating this epic bout like one big game. Now, he's about to add one big game to his booty.
This is a fab item. I would date this at around about 1935. Inside the box, we've got beechwood and metal-made golf clubs. But look how clean they are. Never been played with.
Bagging it for just £8, this 1930s children's golf set could prove to be a hole-in-one.
This game is not as easy as you might think.
So, with the light fading, the boot sale is rapidly drawing to a close, and it would appear that Tim has spent the whole day faffing about. But he could be more cunning than he's letting on. Remember that book, Bradshaw's Family Jewel? Well, unbeknown to David, Tim's been doing his research, and there could be some very interesting news.
Well, that's a result, isn't it? I just rang a mate of mine in the book trade, and there's something called the Auction Book Records, which is a computer database that has every price recorded for all printed books sold at auction. I've asked them to look up Bradshaw's Valuable Family Jewel, printed in 1751, and would you believe it? They have no records whatsoever of this book ever having been sold anywhere in the world. So what does that tell us? Well, it tells me that this is one heck of a rare book. How exciting.
Exciting indeed. That triumphant twinkle in Tim's eye means something is afoot. Could it be that despite all of David's hard work, Tim's family jewel might turn out to be the gem of the day? Remember that Tim had up to £250 to spend, and after a day of frolicking around, he's been left with a whopping 187 quid. His opponent David took matters slightly more seriously and finished up with empty pockets. So, as the car booters head off home, our duelling duo finally have the chance to assess each other's goods.
Well, 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 David Harper.
Tim.
Who would have thought that 5 hours ago
I
it was
know.
brilliant sunshine, now it's grey and gloomy. Are you grey and gloomy?
I'm looking a bit bedraggled, I think, personally.
I don't know why. So this is your collection,
This is it.
I quite like the look of this tea box.
Good, I
That's
like
a
the sound of
very
that.
handsome thing, isn't it?
Isn't it just?
Yeah. How much do you pay for that?
£1.25. Now, I'm looking for your response here. What do you think?
Do you know, I think I'm in trouble.
Oh, OK, let's have a look.
Come and have a look at this lot of old tut.
Oh.
Well, I have spent the grand total of £63, actually, on all this lot.
What do you mean, £63?
£63.
Well, have you spent... You had £250 to spend?
Yeah, but I didn't spend it all, did I?
I've blown everything, every last penny.
What, all £250?
£250, all gone. Let me have a look in there.
Which one would you want to take home in the boot of your car?
If I had to take one home,
Yeah.
I'd take that sexy babe home.
That what? This one?
Yes.
You mean my babe-ometer?
She's great. What does she do then?
Well,
Apart from look good.
press that button and find out.
Oh, Tim.
Well, I shall ask £20 for it,
What?
naturally.
And you paid how much?
50p.
That's a car boot bargain, isn't it?
Certainly is. So I will see you later, mate.
Good. OK, well
And
done. Good
very
luck.
good luck
Yes.
with your trading on.
Well, thank you very
It's
much.
been a real
Yes.
pleasure.
Super
All right,
to
we've
see
had
you.
a gas, haven't we?
Wonderful time.
It's been a breeze.
Wonderful time.
Okay.
See you soon.
Good luck.
Take care.
Well, they're parting on good terms, but this is where the selling starts and the competition gets serious. David will be aiming to make money from a Victorian foot scraper, a Georgian tea caddy and Regency tea caddy, a copper and brass horse singer, and a hardwood Indian leaf table. Tim's hopes rest with a 1930s children's golf set, the Staffordshire jug and the Powell Bishop and Stonier teapot stand, half a dozen 70s band badges, a collection of books including the 18th century cookery book, the 1960s magazine rack, an arts and crafts silver spoon, and of course the cardboard cutout of Buffy. So, after a battle royal at the car boot sale, our two experts head for home to gird their loins for the second half of today's challenge. The aim of the game now is to sell their items for a profit. The winner will be the expert who makes the most money for their chosen charity, and our dueling duo both think they've picked up one or two good items from the boot sale.
You know, that Essex car boot sale was incredible. I still can't really get over it. I did buy some really cracking antique dealing stuff.
We did have, I think, a bit of a result with that book for 50p. It's going to be interesting to find out exactly what that thing's worth.
I mean, the boot scrape, the horse scrape, the tea caddies and the 19th century table, all astonishing. They shouldn't have really been at a car boot fair.
And then we've got Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She's amusing. We've got the nice teapot stand. I mean, there is a bit of potential there.
But then again, of course, the buying is the easy part. Anyone can do that. It's the selling is the difficult part.
Well, David's right. The decisive part of today's challenge is still to come. Our experts both believe they've got some potential profit makers up their sleeves, but actions speak louder than words, and Tim is first out of the blocks. He's decided to take some of his items to the famous Portobello market in West London, and at the crack of dawn, he's ready for what he hopes will be a successful day's selling.
If I look a bit bleary, it's probably because this is 6 o'clock in the morning. It's Portobello Road. I've never been down here quite as early as this. And as you can see, this is the setup moment. We've got our van, we've got our table. We're lugging out all our little precious possessions and pricing them up just at the moment in the hope that we're going to make loads of money.
And as Tim sets his stall, the market fills with potential customers. But can Mr. Wonnacott persuade them to buy his wares and pour plenty of profit into his kitty?
What do you think about it?
It looks like, to me, a traveller's sample or a shop sample to illustrate the range of products the factory made. But
Yeah, rather than a teapot stand.
it would seem a bit problematic to put your teapot and spoil that nice decoration. But
I think you might be right. Am I going to persuade you to buy it?
Ah, the all-important question. Remember, Tim paid £18 for this piece of pottery.
if we can come to an acceptable...
Acceptable price. Well, I'm asking £90 for it. What would you be prepared to offer?
I'd be comfortable in paying 75 for something like that.
£75. OK, fine. Well, it's really nice to know it's going to a collector. Let's do a deal. Well
Why
done.
not?
Thank you very much.
£75 is a great first sale and gives Tim an impressive £57 profit. He's up, running and creating a real buzz around his stall.
Every time you touch the outside, it's going to make a naughty sound. It's 1980s toy. You do have to be quite skillful.
Oh, I'm not very good, am I?
That's good, isn't it?
The buzzing lady might not be a quality antique, but this contest is about testing our expert selling skills. Mr. Wonnacott is rising to the challenge.
Oh. Had to do that just to see what the effect was.
Tim's working hard to sell that 80s toy. He paid 50p for it. But the aim of the game is to make a profit, so can he find a buyer?
Well, it could be yours for a tenner, actually.
For a tenner, I will buy it.
A babometer. You are a good man. A great pleasure.
With customers flocking around Tim's stall and the profits rolling in,
£5, you happy with £5?
Yes.
OK.
David needs to start selling fast.
Now, I've got two items from the car boot fair in Essex that I think might do quite well in auction. One, the horse singer. I mean, who has ever seen anything like that before? And the rosewood tea caddy needing some restoration. So I'm here at Addison's to see my mate, Richard. He'll give me a valuation, and if it's any good, we'll take a chance and put him into sale.
Remember, he paid £20 for the horse singer and £35 for the tea caddy.
Hello, David.
Good to see you.
Very nice to see you.
How
too.
are you?
Very well.
Good.
Very well.
Well, I'm hoping you might be interested in a couple of items I've got for you.
Excellent.
Number one, we all know what that is.
Yes, a sarcophagus tea caddy.
Very good.
A rosewood one, it looks like.
Yeah.
It's a nice little mother of pearl inlay in the discs.
Good. Nice shape, good size.
Nice shape. Not in the best condition.
Oh, Richard, you know you love it. But I thought it was a good shape, a nice colour.
Yep.
Absolutely untouched. 1820 in date, I would
Yes,
thought.
I would think.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Nice, I think it's got a good base on it.
Yes.
Now, I bought this at a car boot fair. How much do you think I paid for it?
£80.
Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? No, 35.
It's a good buy.
It's got to be good, hasn't
Yep,
it?
absolutely.
Now, if we were to put it into auction, what kind of estimate do you think?
I would suggest £50 to £70.
Perfect. Can we go with that?
Absolutely.
And can we fix the reserve at 50 just in
Yep.
case it's a bad showing?
Yep.
Well, that's a promising start, but what will the auctioneer make of Mr. Harper's horse singer?
Conservatively, I would suggest an estimate of possibly 60 to 80.
Oh, Richard, now you're talking. That would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Okay.
Well, can we go with that, but put a fixed reserve of 60?
Yes, indeed.
Just to save it?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Can I leave it with you?
Absolutely.
Thanks, Richard. Great
Not
to
at
see you
all.
again.
And you, David.
See you soon.
Thanks a lot.
If the auctioneer's estimates are right, there's some potential profit in David's two items. They'll be going under the hammer very shortly. But back in London, Mr. Wonnacott is going from strength to strength. Business is brisk. And it looks as though there's some interest in the arts and crafts silver spoon that he paid £5 for.
It's got silver stamped on it.
Yeah, I
so
see.
Maybe American, do you think?
I think it possibly is. Let's have a look.
Well, sometimes they put sterling on and sometimes they put silver on.
Silver. It's between either American or English.
Do you want it?
Yes.
I'll do a deal.
I know.
30 quid to you.
Sold.
Yes, that's another great shale for Tim, and it looks like his decision to sell some of his car boot items at Portobello really is paying off.
This is all going very nicely, I tell you. Look at all these people. I've never seen so many rubberneckers in all my life. We've got Spanish, we've got Greek, we've got Russians. I've seen one or two English, and an awful lot of people just wandering along. I mean, it's fantastic. It's the most cosmopolitan street I reckon you can come across in London.
With so many customers from all walks of life, Tim is in his element, and the pressure really is building on David, who's yet to make a sale. His rosewood tea caddy and horse singer are about to go up for auction, and there's some potentially crucial late-breaking news about one of the items.
Apparently there's big interest in my little singer, so maybe it's something special, but anything around the bottom estimate of £60 is going to be a major result in the scale of things. Anything over that is going to be fabulous, and now I can hardly stand up.
So there may be some interest in his horse singer, but auctions are unpredictable places, and there's no guarantee that David's item will sell.
133, 19th century copper and brass horse groomer or singer. It's a very unusual thing there.
See, very unusual. Come on, Richard.
Victorian patterns and so on and so forth.
It's a big moment for David. Remember, he bought the horse singer for £20. He's hoping someone will buy for at least 60.
Quite a bit of interest on this.
Interest.
So with my commissions, I've got to start, let's see, at £160.
Wow, £160 is a jaw-dropping opening bid.
With commission interest, and I'll take 170. I have 165 horse groomer. Do I see 167?
Come on,
170 in the back wall. I have 180. Would you like 190? No,
I can't believe it. 180.
The commissions. Do I see 190 anywhere else? I'm going to sell then to the commission bidders at £180.
Yes! £180. I can't believe it. What a great start. Get in there, Tim Wonnacott. Couldn't find anything in the car boot, eh? Well, see all the confidence now? So confident. Can't believe it. Fantastic.
I think it's fair to say that David is a happy man. He's just made a fabulous profit on his horse singer, and there's more good news when the rosewood tea caddy
I'm going to sell then to the lady in the back row 50
quid.
pours more profit into his pot. Back in London, Tim's day at Portobello Market is drawing to a close, but he's determined to seal one last deal and close the gap on his rival before he starts packing up.
So I've seen you admiring my jug, and this is a splendid example, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you keen on jugs?
Yes, I am.
Mm-hmm. And you like this one because of its shape?
It's the shape and the era. Anything Victorian I love.
You love it?
Anything.
Well, this is 1880. It's got the beehive mark on it.
Yes.
It's perfect. What are we asking for it? £65.
Yes.
How much you pay me for it?
40.
£40?
£40.
£40?
Go for 40.
That's a deal.
Is it?
£40?
Thank
Look,
you.
you've got your money out already.
Yes, I
Look
was
at that.
ready. I was ready.
Look.
I wasn't paying more than 40, honestly.
That's splendid news for Tim. He paid £10 for the jug, so he's made a tidy £30 and had a very profitable day.
I just love these crowds, and they've supported us, I think, tremendously. Now, my strategy at the car boot was to buy as much as I possibly could and spend the minimum amount of money. And I think it's been successful. Some of the things haven't sold, but on the other hand, what has sold may not have made a lot of profit, but the markup has been tremendous.
Well, whilst Tim heads home to work out how to sell his remaining items, David is keen to stretch his lead and has decided to try and sell the Victorian foot scraper to his builder.
You're on. There he is. Hi, Colin.
How, David?
How are you? How's things going?
All right.
Looking good up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Happy with your men? Oh, you're never happy with your men.
What do you think?
I'll tell you who's never happy, your wife. Now, isn't she always complaining about the fact that you walk through the house with muddy feet?
She does it all the time. But I'm a builder, you see.
But I've got the perfect solution for you, Colin. What do you think of that? It's a late 19th century Victorian original cast iron boot scrape for muddy boots. And let me just show you how it works. I mean, I know you know how it works, but let me demonstrate. Simple. Scrape all the grime off. Job's done. 60 quid. Late 19th century, proper, genuine antique.
Selling a foot scraper to a builder makes sense, and if he can get 60 quid for it, David would double his money. But is Colin interested?
Let's say, I don't know, £25, I don't know.
55 quid, it's got to be cheap at that, Colin.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, and it would be good to have that I can't go any more than £48.
£48? Where'd you get the £8 from?
It's because that's what I've got in my pocket in change.
Well, I'll tell you what, round it up to £50 and I'll take £2 off the wages bill at the end of the week.
Deal.
Good man.
This is a fiercely fought affair, and with everything still to play for, Tim has decided to give his opponent a call and get some clues about how he's doing.
Hello.
I want to find out how you're getting on with your car boot items.
Well, you might be surprised. You might be surprised there, Tim, because I think I bought some decent stuff, proper antiques, and funnily enough, I'm doing all right. How are you doing with Buffy?
Buffy, she's looking beautiful. Everything's going along perfectly nicely, I have to say, but I did spend a miserable amount of money, which is a bit of a worry, and you spent nearly all of yours, so goodness only knows what's going to happen. But good luck with it.
Good luck to you too.
All the best. Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye. Bye. 60-odd pounds he spent, but, you know, something tells me to start getting worried because he sounds so confident. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where's he going to go with that?
Well, David's right to be a little concerned because Mr. Wonnacott is a formidable foe. Having reached the halfway stage of today's selling challenge, it's time to find out who's racing ahead and who needs to pull their socks up. Thanks to a successful day at Portobello Market, Tim has racked up £165 worth of sales and banked a profit of £131.50. It's a good effort, but he's lagging behind because David has sealed almost £300 worth of deals and made a profit of nearly £200. He might be behind, but Mr. Wonnacott is a wily campaigner and he's decided to spring a surprise from his day at Portobello.
This chap down the way has donated for the charity this wonderful black and white print of a racing car. Now, he's French, all right? He's a specialist photographic dealer, but he doesn't know anything about motor cars. And he thought it would be rather fun just to give it for charitable purposes, which is really sweet.
Well, sweet it may be, but the rules are that all items have to be bought, not donated. Unaware that he's breaking the rules, Tim's determined to try and secure a sale.
I've slunk away to Norfolk, just outside Norwich. I've come to the Lotus factory, and I'm going to find out some more about the photograph, and just maybe they'll buy it from me.
Well, even though any profits he might make will be going to charity, Tim is breaking the rules by selling a donated item. And whilst the Put Your Money Games Masters decide what to do, Mr. Wonnacott is pressing on.
Good morning.
Hello, Tim. Welcome to Lotus.
Very nice to see you.
You found us okay?
Absolutely right. Well, I'm going to show you the photograph, and hopefully you got the email of the image.
I certainly did. I'm really interested to see the original. Oh, this is fascinating. I love the fact that, look at all the crowd. The crowd are almost on the track. You just wouldn't see that in 2008, would you?
But that's, I guess, how it was. I mean, you would have the crowd 4 feet from the edge of the tarmac.
I mean, the photographer must have been pretty close to the track as well to see that, to get that picture.
Yes.
It really is a striking photo.
I'm suspecting that this is the 23B, is that right?
It certainly looks like 23B, and I've emailed it round, and we're pretty convinced this is Lotus.
Right. If I flip it over, they're the photographer, who is one MJSW.
Right.
And this is said to be Peter Westbury driving it.
Right.
Peter Westbury was the 1960-something or other hill climb champion, and he did a bit of Formula One, and he's known to have driven the Lotus 23B, owned one, so I think
That's good
this
provenance.
identification is correct, actually.
Good provenance. I mean,
Yeah. Now, I'm in the business of selling this photograph.
I thought you might be.
Now we come to the business. I mean, I've got a target for it. Quite frankly, I think if it brought about £300, I think it's worth about £300.
Right, OK.
I mean, how does that grab you, Chris?
Well, I can't deny we're interested in it. 300's a bit rich for a Yorkshireman, but...
I love it, don't you?
How about 250?
£250. You'd be happy to take it at £250?
Yes, I think so.
Wow, £250 is a result, and having sealed a great deal, Tim's been offered the chance to have a spin in a current model of the car in the photograph. Yes, Yes, he might be having fun, but rules are rules. And having discussed Tim's latest sale, the Put Your Money Games Masters have decided to give him a little call.
Hello? Yeah. OK, fine. Right. So that's what the powers that be say, is it? That's the ruling. Right. It's a disgrace. You won't believe that. They've decided that because I was given the photograph at Portobello, the sale is not eligible for my total profits for the competition. Well, I don't care about that. I'm going to give the profits anyway to my charity. Fair enough? I think it's fair enough. Here we go then. This is too much fun to miss.
Well, giving the money to charity isn't a problem, but Tim is not allowed to put the money into his competition kitty. He's still lagging behind, but Mr. Wonnacott's come up with another cheeky idea. He's decided to host a charity auction to sell his remaining items, and as lot...
At 40, and it's gone, thank you very much.
After lot...
At 22, well done, sir, at 22, number
bring the profits pouring in.
£19, it's with you then at 19. I'm selling in the middle at 19.
He even manages to sell the cardboard cutout of Buffy.
£38, £40, £45. At £45, I'm selling at £45 and on 41. Bless your heart.
So, after a burst of selling, Tim has taken the lead. But Mr. Harper is determined to strike back. He's asked his builder, Colin, to take a look at his Indian leaf table. And having already sold him a Victorian foot scraper, he's going to have his work cut out to persuade him to put his hand in his pocket again.
This is something that I bought down in Essex recently. Now, it's a mid-19th century Anglo-Indian, so made for us, the Raj, in India, 1850, 1890, that kind of time scale, yeah. So it's in a kind of an Indian style, but made for the European market.
I see, yes.
It's a hardwood, sometimes called a blackwood, but it could be a rosewood or maybe a teak, but completely and utterly hand-carved. So all of these panels here, Colin,
beautiful, isn't it?
Isn't it? But in its day, Colin, this is really clever. Just take these off. It was made in such a way that it was easy to transport. So sometimes referred to as campaign furniture because the lid lifts off.
I see.
Yeah, and then it's constructed with hinges. The table just folds in like so. And then if you were in India, 1870, and you had to travel from one side of India to the other across the wilderness, and you needed some home comforts, which of course you would, camping for weeks on end, you'd take pieces of furniture like this on camels, on elephants, on donkeys, and they would pack away safely, securely.
Yeah, I understand that, yes.
Fantastically constructed. Then when you get to your final destination, you fix it up again, and you also use it while camping. And then, of course, what happened is that this style, this fashion for furniture on the Indian subcontinent became fashionable here.
Well, the table is a beautiful piece of furniture, but is Colin prepared to pay more than the £40 David needs to make a profit?
Now, the question is how much you want for it, David, if you don't mind me asking that.
Well, I don't mind you asking, Colin, £150.
But that's dear.
Do you think it is? £140.
It is a lovely piece, I must admit, but it is a lot of money. I mean, there's a big markup there.
Do you want to give me a bid?
£80.
I'll tell you what, make it £120.
This is my final offer, David, right? I'll give you £100.
Colin, you're a great man. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
£100.
Yes, David's more than doubled his money on the Indian table and closed the gap on Tim. Our experts have now got one item each left to sell, and this contest could still go either way. Tim's on his way to try and sell the 18th century cookbook, whilst David is pinning his hopes on his Georgian tea caddy. It's a fight to the finish, and David is the first to make his move.
Well, don't you think this is a much prettier location for this gorgeous tea caddy? I mean, come on, a car boot fair. So I've brought it to see one of my greatest friends, Anthony Kelton, the Reverend Anthony Kelton, no less, who has a real good eye for furniture. In actual fact, I've sold him just about everything in that house, so wish me luck.
Well, the Reverend might be a friend and trusted client, but he's also a very knowledgeable one. So there are no guarantees of success here for David.
Hey, good to see you. Come on in. Come on in. Now, David, this is very, very nice.
It's very, very you.
I like it very much.
To get you even more excited, I need to tell you a bit about it.
Go on, please.
That was made for a very wealthy family.
Beautiful.
And absolutely bang up to date in style. It was a very fashionable piece. And look, Ant, the original escutcheon.
Wonderful.
Now, you are a fanatic when it comes to attention to detail. You like things original.
Just lovely.
That hasn't been changed in all of its life.
Fabulous.
And look at the interior.
It's just lovely, David. It seriously is.
Oak-lined.
Yeah.
It's missing its canisters. It would have had kind of pewter or tin canisters, but they're nothing. The original compartments are there. It's never been converted into anything else.
OK.
So, with David doing his best to convince the Reverend that the tea caddy is for him, Tim has taken his cookery book to see a specialist dealer in central London.
Had a hard life, as all cookery books tend to do. They seem to be thrown about the kitchen.
So literally, Penelope Bradshaw just produced a series of recipes on how to do it in 1751.
Yes, it was the time when a bit more self-help was going along in smaller middle-class kitchens, and this type of book started to be published and become very popular. Lots of them were published, but they all tend to be quite rare, and this is a nice cookery book.
Oh, good.
Right. So, yes, I'm interested in this book.
Okay,
it's the type of thing my clients would like.
And what sort of value would you normally put on a book like that? And what sort of price range are we talking about?
I'd purchase it for between £700 and £1,000.
How much?
Yes, £700 and £1,000.
£700,000?
I'd be happy to pay that for it.
Really? Oh, well, that's absolutely marvellous, Julian. I'm delighted.
Well, £700 to £1,000 would be a real clincher for Tim, but...
That's a problem. There seems to be a page or 2 pages missing. A leaf's been torn out of this book. At the pickling point, somebody was pickling something and decided to rip the page out.
Yes, P for poultry and P for pickling.
Yeah.
And page 41's gone AWOL.
It has, it's run away.
So what does that make it worth? 500, something like that?
No, I'm sorry. No, it doesn't make it worth anything like that.
So, with Tim waiting with bated breath to find out how much his book is worth, and if the dealer is prepared to make him an offer, David is getting down to business. Don't forget, he paid £125 for the tea caddy, and with hardly anything to choose between our experts, every penny is going to count.
It's got to be worth all day long 500 quid.
It's too much, David.
Where do we need to be?
We need to be, you know, maybe 200.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah. I don't mind bids, you know, that, if we're negotiating, I'm in my element. I love negotiating, even if the person I'm negotiating with...
Stop. I'm going to give you 250 cash.
Can't do it.
275 cash.
Go on.
Good man, David.
It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure,
Good man,
Ant.
that's excellent.
Thank you very much.
Well, the Reverend has clearly negotiated with David before, but Mr. Harper is a happy man because the Georgian tea caddy has poured a whopping £150 profit into his kitty. We'll find out very shortly if it was enough to win today's competition or if Tim's cookery book served up the winning deal. But after a colossal clash, how much money have our experts made? Remember, Tim spent just £63 at the car boot sale, whilst David splashed out and spent his entire £250 kitty. But which one of them has made the biggest profit? Neither of our experts know what the other has made, so it's now time to reveal who is today's Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is champion.
Well, David, how are you old rogue?
Fine, but wasn't that car boot fair? What was it like, Tim?
Ghastly, I thought.
You didn't like it at all, did you?
You spent all your money.
Every last pound.
I spent £63.
Ridiculous. But it worries me what you've done with that 60-odd pounds.
Well, you've got nothing to worry about. You
think
spent
so?
all your money, you got all that stock.
I did.
I couldn't find anything.
I must have bought all the antique pieces I got.
Yeah, you got there first, mate. That's what it was. So, you're feeling pretty confident, I guess. You ought to be.
Do you think, really? You're trying to build me up here?
No, you found the goods.
I did, I got them. And you only spent 60 quid,
Yeah,
so...
no, it's not
really.
easy. I'm really, really wanting to know what you've got inside your attaché case.
Well, shall we do it?
Shall we do it?
OK.
OK, then. You doing the words?
I'll do 3, 2, 1.
Right. Ooh.
Oh, no!
Look at that,
445
£405. Well, that's amazing, isn't it? 9 quid between us, can you believe that? But I have to say, I am absolutely chuffed to be the winner, quite frankly, because it was such a miserable outlay, £63, and I have won, but it's not really. I think we should declare this a draw.
Oh,
officially.
what a gentleman. Well, shall we declare it a drink time?
Oh,
I
now
think
you're
we need
talking
it,
my
don't we?
language.
So it's a victory for Tim, and it was the 18th century cookery book that clinched it. It might have been damaged, but remember, he bought it as part of a job lot of books for just £5.
I'll give you 100 quid for it. With the defect, I think it's all it's worth.
You've been brilliant, anyway, having a look at it and telling us what the answer is. So I think we'll do a deal at £100. Thank you very much. Good man.
Thank you.
So a final profit of £95 gave Tim the win. But both our experts made splendid profits, and those profits will be going to excellent causes.
Well, I may have been a loser today in one regard, but in another, I'm a winner, and so is the Door of Hope, my chosen charity. They're a great charity, and they help orphanages and children's homes in Romania and Bulgaria, and by goodness me, do they need some help.
£414 profits is a stellar result for my charities, which are St Catherine's Hospice here in Sussex and Refuge, a charity that supports battered women. And of course, I'm going to top it up with the proceeds of the sale of that donated photograph, a further £250.
Well, they're all very good causes, and although Tim won today's showdown, this competition is far from over, because tomorrow our two fearless antiques giants will be heading across the channel to do battle at an antiques market in Paris.
Oh, fun to have a ride, wouldn't it?
OK, so how much are these then?
These are €25.
Oh, what, for them all?
No.